The sun hung low over Fishtown, casting a golden glow across the row houses as Ava balanced a tray of cupcakes, weaving through the crowded schoolyard of Harper's Elementary School in South Philly. The annual bake sale was in full swing. Kids darted between tables, parents chatted over coffee, and the air buzzed with laughter. Ava, 32, flashed a warm smile as she handed a cupcake to a gap-toothed third grader, her marketing instincts kicking in as she pitched the treats like a pro. "Only $1, and all proceeds go to the art program," she called, her voice bright but practiced. She'd done this routine for years, and it showed. The other moms nodded approvingly, but Ava's mind wandered, restless beneath the surface. At home, life was steady, almost enviable. Noah, her husband of 10 years, was the kind of guy who showed up. At 35, he managed a craft brewery in Northern Liberties, pouring his energy into perfecting IPAs and coaching Harper's soccer team at Clark Park. Their 8-year-old daughter, Harper, was a spark plug, quick-witted, with a knack for scoring goals and charming anyone with her lopsided grin. Weekends meant family hikes along the Schuylkill River Trail or grabbing cheesesteaks at Pat's, debating with Noah over whether to add onions. To outsiders, they were the picture of a happy Philly family, the kind you'd see in a Visit Philadelphia ad. But Ava felt a quiet ache, like a song stuck on repeat. Life worked but didn't thrill. That Saturday, Ava volunteered at a wellness expo in Rittenhouse Square, a gig she'd picked up to promote her marketing firm's new client, a local gym. The park was alive with yoga mats, smoothie stands, and upbeat music. She worked the booth, handing out flyers, her energy dialed up to mask the monotony she felt. That's when Ethan, 28, strode up, a personal trainer with a confident stride and a smile that cut through the crowd. "You look like you could use a break from selling kale smoothies," he said, leaning against the booth, his tone teasing but warm. Ava laughed, caught off guard. His directness felt like a jolt, something raw and unscripted. They talked for 10 minutes that stretched into 20. Ethan shared stories of clients he'd trained, his passion for fitness, and a quirky habit of naming his workouts after Philly landmarks. Think Liberty Bell lunges. Ava found herself opening up, admitting she hadn't felt alive in a while, though she stopped short of specifics. "You've got this spark," Ethan said, his eyes locked on hers. "Most people here are just going through the motions, but you stand out." Her cheeks warmed, and she brushed it off, but his words lingered like a match struck in the dark. Back home, Noah was in the kitchen, chopping peppers for tacos while Harper sprawled on the couch, sketching soccer plays. "How'd the expo go?" Noah asked, glancing up with his usual steady grin. Ava shrugged, set her bag down. "Fine. Lots of yoga moms and protein shakes." She didn't mention Ethan, though her phone buzzed in her pocket. A text from him thanking her for the chat and offering a free trial at his gym. She silenced it, her pulse quickening. Noah didn't notice, too focused on perfecting his salsa recipe. Over the next week, Ava couldn't shake Ethan's words. She loved Noah, but their life felt like a well-worn script, predictable, safe. Harper's soccer games, brewery events, and Netflix nights were comforting but lacked the edge she craved. She started scrolling Ethan's gym's Instagram, watching clips of him leading classes, his energy infectious. On a whim, she booked a private session, telling herself it was about fitness, not attraction. "Just need to shake things up," she muttered, typing self-care into her calendar to justify the cost. The gym in Northern Liberties was a sleek space with pounding music and clanging weights. Ethan greeted her with that same disarming smile, guiding her through stretches with easy confidence. "You're stronger than you think," he said, adjusting her form, his hand briefly on her shoulder. The touch sent a current through her, and she laughed it off, blaming endorphins. They talked after about Philly's music scene, her old college days at Temple, his dream of opening a gym chain. He listened, really listened, in a way that made her feel seen, not just useful. That night, Ava told Noah she'd joined a gym, keeping it vague. "Good for you," he said, distracted by an email about his brewery's upcoming investor pitch. Harper, though, looked up from her homework. "You're acting weird, Mom. You keep smiling at your phone." Ava froze, then forced a laugh. "Just work stuff, kiddo." But Harper's sharp eyes lingered, and Ava felt a pang of guilt. She ignored it, texting Ethan to confirm another session. The lie came easily, and that scared her. By the third session, Ava and Ethan's chats turned personal. He asked about her dreams, her fears, things Noah hadn't asked in years. "You're not like other clients," Ethan said, handing her a water bottle, his fingers brushing hers. "You've got this energy, like you're meant for more than this routine life." Ava's heart raced, but she pushed it down, telling herself it was harmless. Still, she started staying late at the gym, claiming client meetings at Reading Terminal Market. Noah, swamped with work, didn't question it. But Harper noticed Ava's absence at her last soccer game, her small face clouding with confusion. Ava's phone became a secret lifeline. Ethan's texts, playful at first, grew bolder. "Wish I could steal you away for a coffee," he wrote one night. Ava stared at the message, her thumb hovering over the reply button. She typed, deleted, then typed again, maybe one day. The words felt like crossing a line, but the thrill drowned out the warning bells. She didn't see Harper watching from the hallway, clutching her stuffed eagle, her young mind piecing together her mom's shifting world. As Ava drove home along Kelly Drive, the Schuylkill River glinting under streetlights, she felt alive but unsteady, like she was speeding towards something she couldn't control. Ethan was a spark, but sparks could burn. She didn't know Noah was starting to notice her late nights, or that Harper's quiet questions were piling up. All she knew was the pull of something new, something that made her heart race. Even if it meant risking the life she'd built, Ava's sneakers pounded the treadmill at Ethan's Northern Liberties gym, the thumping bass of a hip-hop playlist matching her racing pulse. It was her 5th session in 2 weeks, each one stretching longer than the last. Ethan stood nearby, calling out encouragements. "Push it, Ava. You're killing this." His voice carried a playful edge, but his gaze lingered, making her stomach flip. She told herself it was just the workout, but the truth was harder to dodge. Ethan's attention was addictive. After the session, they sat on a bench outside the gym, sipping water and talking. Ethan leaned close, his shoulder brushing hers. "You ever feel like you're living someone else's life?" he asked, tossing a pebble into the street. Ava hesitated, then nodded. "Sometimes, like I'm checking boxes instead of, I don't know, ascending, living." Ethan's eyes lit up. "Exactly. You meant for more than that, Ava. I see it." His words hit a nerve, and she laughed to cover the warmth creeping up her neck. She didn't tell him about Noah or Harper, but his confidence in her potential stirred something restless. Back home in Fishtown, Noah was juggling a hectic week. His brewery's big investor pitch was days away, and he was buried in spreadsheets, barely noticing Ava's distracted demeanor. "You okay?" he asked one evening, glancing up from his laptop as Ava scrolled her phone on the couch. "Yeah, just tired," she said, forcing a smile. Her phone buzzed. Ethan, suggesting a coffee at a spot in Old City. She muted it, but Harper, sprawled on the floor with her sketchbook, looked up. "You're always on your phone, Mom," she said, her tone sharp for an 8-year-old. Ava's chest tightened. "Work stuff, Harp," she lied, but Harper's frown didn't budge. The lies came easier now. Ava told Noah she had late client meetings at Reading Terminal Market or networking events in Center City. Instead, she was at the gym, training with Ethan or lingering after the chat. Their conversations veered from casual to personal. "What's something you've always wanted to do?" Ethan asked one day, stretching beside her. "Travel. See places like Paris, Tokyo," Ava admitted, surprised by her own candor. "What's stopping you?" he pressed. She shrugged, dodging the answer. Her family, her life. But Ethan's question echoed, feeding her discontent. One night, Ava stayed late at the gym, claiming a last-minute consult. Ethan suggested a walk along Delaware Avenue, the city lights reflecting off the river. "You're different, Ava," he said, stopping to face her. "Most people settle. You're not like that." His hand grazed hers, and she didn't pull away. The air felt charged, and she laughed nervously, steering the talk to safer topics. But when she got home, Noah was asleep, and Harper was at a sleepover. The quiet house felt stifling, and Ava's fingers hovered over a reply to Ethan's latest text. "Missed you tonight." She typed, "Maybe next time," and hit send, her heart pounding. The next day, at Harper's soccer game in Clark Park, Ava's mind wandered. Noah cheered loudly from the sidelines, but Ava barely noticed Harper's goal, her thoughts on Ethan's last message. Harper jogged over after, sweaty and beaming. "Did you see my goal, Mom?" Ava nodded. "Gehe twisting hier gut." "Awesome job, kiddo," she said, but Harper's smile faded. "You weren't even watching," she muttered, kicking the grass. Noah overheard, shooting Ava a puzzled look. "Everything okay?" he asked later. "Just work stress," Ava said, avoiding his eyes. Ethan's text grew bolder. "Meet me for drinks at a bar in Passing Square," he wrote one evening. Ava hesitated, then agreed, telling Noah she was grabbing dinner with a coworker. At the bar, Ethan was waiting, his energy pulling her in. They talked over craft beers, his stories about backpacking in Europe making her laugh and dream. "You could do that, Ava. Break free," he said, his hand resting on hers. She pulled back, citing a work call, but her resolve was fraying. The walk home felt like a tightrope. Noah started noticing gaps. "You're out a lot," he said one morning, pouring coffee in their Fishtown kitchen. "This client must love you." His tone was light, but his eyes searched hers. Ava shrugged, muttering about deadlines, and changed the subject to his brewery pitch. Harper, eating cereal, piped up, "Mom's always texting someone." Ava's laugh was too quick, and Noah's brow furrowed, but he let it go, distracted by a work call. Ava's stomach churned. She was slipping deeper into a lie she couldn't untangle. By her 10th session, Ethan's flirtations were undeniable. During a cool-down stretch, he adjusted her posture, his hands lingering on her waist. "You're trouble, you know that?" he teased, his voice low. Ava smirked, brushing it off, but her pulse raced. After, he suggested a quick coffee at a shop in Northern Liberties. She agreed, telling Noah she had a gym class. Over lattes, Ethan leaned in. "I can't stop thinking about you, Ava. You feel it too, don't you?" Her throat tightened. "It's complicated," she said, but her half-smile betrayed her. That night, Harper caught Ava texting in the car before dinner. "Who's that, Mom?" she asked, her voice small but pointed. Ava tucked her phone away. "Just a friend, Harp." Harper crossed her arms, unconvinced. At dinner, Noah tried to lighten the mood, joking about his pitch prep, but Ava's responses were clipped, her mind on Ethan's words. Noah reached for her hand, but she pulled away, citing a headache. His silence felt heavy, like he sensed something but wasn't ready to ask. Ava's world was splitting. Ethan's messages lit up her phone, invitations to meet, hints at wanting more. She deleted some, afraid Noah might see, but kept others, rereading them late at night. One evening, she stayed at the gym until 9 p.m., laughing with Ethan over a shared playlist. When she got home, Noah was on the couch, his laptop closed. "Late one," he said, his tone flat. "Yeah, tough day," Ava replied, avoiding his gaze. Harper's bedroom door was shut, her light off. Ava's lies were piling up, and the weight was starting to crack her perfect life. The Fishtown block party was in full swing, the street alive with music, food trucks, and neighbors laughing under string lights. Ava manned a lemonade stand, pouring drinks for kids while Noah grilled burgers nearby, his brewery's logo on a banner overhead. Harper darted through the crowd, playing tag with friends, her giggles cutting through the chatter. Ava's phone buzzed in her pocket. Ethan again. "Meet me tonight," the text read. She glanced at Noah, flipping burgers with a grin, and typed a quick busy before tucking her phone away. Her chest tightened. The lies were piling higher, and she felt the strain. Ethan had grown bolder, pushing for more time together. Their gym sessions in Northern Liberties had turned into late-night walks or quick drinks at dive bars in Passing Square. Ava told Noah she was working late or catching up with Old Temple classmates, but the excuses felt flimsier each time. Last week, Ethan had grabbed her hand during a walk along the Delaware River, his voice low. "I'm falling for you, Ava. You know that, right?" She'd pulled away, muttering about her family, but his words stuck, fueling a reckless thrill she couldn't shake. Now, at the block party, Ava kept busy, dodging her guilt. Noah called out, "Need more ice, babe?" She nodded, forcing a smile, but Harper tugged her arm. "Mom, you're acting weird again," she said, her eyes narrowing. Ava brushed it off. "Just hot out here, Harp." But Harper's frown lingered, and Ava felt a pang. Her daughter's sharp instincts were catching up to her. Noah, oblivious, handed a neighbor a burger, his laugh easy. Ava envied his calm, unaware it was about to shatter. Halfway through the party, the crowd parted, and Ethan appeared, striding toward Ava's stand. Her stomach dropped. He wasn't supposed to be here. She'd never told him about the block party. His eyes locked on hers, intense, unyielding. "Ava, we need to talk," he said, loud enough for heads to turn. Noah froze, spatula in hand, as neighbors whispered. Harper stopped running, staring. Ava's voice caught. "Ethan, not now," she hissed, but he stepped closer, undeterred. "I'm done hiding. I love you, Ava. You feel the same, don't you?" The air went still. Noah set the spatula down, his jaw tight, and walked over. "Who's this?" he asked, his voice steady but sharp. Ava's hands shook as she gripped the lemonade pitcher. "He's my trainer," she stammered. Ethan cut in. "It's more than that, and you know it." Gasps rippled through the crowd. Harper's eyes widened, and she bolted toward the house, slamming the door. Noah's gaze shifted to Ava, searching for an explanation. "Ava, what's he talking about?" he asked, his tone low, controlled. Ava's mind raced, her lies crumbling. "It's not what you think," she started, but her voice wavered. Ethan pressed forward. "She's been meeting me for weeks." "Tell him, Ava." The neighbors stared, phones out, recording the drama. Noah's eyes darkened, but he stayed calm, turning to Ethan. "You need to leave. Now." Ethan hesitated, then backed off, muttering, "This isn't over." As he walked away, Ava felt the weight of every eye on her. Noah looked back, his voice barely above a whisper. "Is it true?" She couldn't lie anymore. "Yes," she said, her voice breaking. "I'm sorry." Noah's face hardened, a mix of pain and disbelief. Without another word, he turned to check on Harper, leaving Ava standing alone by the stand, the lemonade pitcher trembling in her hands. The party resumed, but the whispers followed her, a chorus of judgment. She wanted to run after Noah, to explain, but her feet wouldn't move. The truth had exploded, and there was no undoing it. That night, Noah sat Ava down at their kitchen table, Harper asleep upstairs. "How long?" he asked, his voice flat. Ava swallowed. "A month. Maybe more." Noah nodded, processing. "You lied to me." "To Harper. In our home." She tried to speak, but he raised a hand. "I need you to stay somewhere else tonight. I can't look at you right now." His calm was worse than anger, cutting deeper. Ava grabbed a bag, her hands shaking, and drove to a hotel in Center City, her phone silent. No text from Ethan, no calls from Noah. In the hotel, Ava's guilt consumed her, but Ethan's words echoed. "You feel the same." She texted him, asking why he'd shown up, but he didn't reply. Meanwhile, Noah sat up late, Harper curled against him, asking, "Why did that man say he loves Mom?" Noah hugged her, struggling for words. "Sometimes people make mistakes, Harp. We'll figure it out." But his mind was already turning, not to rage, but to a plan. He opened Ava's phone, left unlocked on the counter, and scrolled through her texts with Ethan, dates, times, promises. His jaw clenched, but his resolve hardened. The next morning, Noah called a lawyer friend in Center City, setting up a meeting. He wasn't out for blood. He wanted to protect Harper, to secure their life. Ava, alone in her hotel room, stared at her reflection, replaying the block party. She called Ethan, who finally answered, his tone defensive. "I had to do it, Ava. You weren't going to." She hung up, his words ringing hollow. Her family was slipping away, and Ethan's grand gesture felt like a trap. As Noah met with the lawyer, digging into Ethan's past, Ava realized the spark she'd chased was about to burn everything down. That Ava's new life in a cramped Manayunk apartment felt like a holding cell for her mistakes. The Fishtown block party confrontation had left her marriage in ruins, and Noah's silence was deafening. He'd asked her to move out, and she'd complied, packing a suitcase while Harper watched from her bedroom door, eyes red and guarded. "Why, Mom?" Harper had asked, her voice small. Ava had no answer, only a choked, "I'm sorry, Harp." Now, alone, she clung to Ethan, hoping he'd fill the void left by her shattered family. Noah, back in Fishtown, focused on Harper. He took her to school, coached her soccer games at Clark Park, and kept their routine steady, but his lawyer's office in Center City became a second home. He filed for divorce, seeking primary custody to protect Harper from Ava's chaos. "She needs stability," he told his lawyer, his voice firm but heavy. The lawyer nodded, pulling records on Ethan's gym, unpaid taxes, complaints about shady billing. Noah didn't want revenge. He wanted justice, a way to shield his daughter and move forward. Ava, meanwhile, leaned into Ethan, meeting him at a quiet bar in Old City. His charm was still there, but cracks showed. He canceled plans last minute, claiming client emergencies, and grew irritable when Ava asked about his day. "You're stressing me out," he snapped one night, tossing his phone on the table. Ava ignored the red flags, desperate to believe he was worth the wreckage. She texted Harper daily, short messages about school or soccer, but got one-word replies or none at all. Each silence cut deeper than Noah's absence. One evening, Ava waited for Ethan at a coffee shop in Northern Liberties. He was late again, and she scrolled through old photos of Harper's birthday parties, her chest aching. When Ethan arrived, he was distracted, muttering about losing clients. "The gym's taking a hit," he said, avoiding her eyes. Ava pressed for details, but he brushed her off. "It's nothing. Let's just chill." She nodded, but doubt crept in. Later, she overheard a barista mention Ethan's gym was under investigation for tax issues. Her stomach sank. Had Noah done this? Noah had. Using public records, he'd tipped off the city about Ethan's unpaid fines and questionable practices, like overcharging clients. The Department of Revenue opened a case, and Ethan's gym lost half its members in a week. Noah didn't gloat. He told his lawyer, "I just want him out of our lives." At home, he sat with Harper, explaining, "Mom made a mistake, but we're going to be okay." Harper hugged him, but her quiet, "I miss her," broke his resolve to stay cold. He allowed Ava short phone calls with Harper, but only if she stayed consistent. Ava's calls with Harper were strained. "How's school?" she'd ask. "Fine," Harper would mutter, then hang up. Ava kept meeting Ethan, but his promises, weekend getaways, a fresh start, felt hollow. One night, at a hotel in Manayunk, he snapped when she asked about his plans. "Why were you always pushing me?" he said, storming out. Ava sat alone, realizing Ethan wasn't the escape she'd imagined. He was impulsive, unreliable, a spark that fizzled when reality hit. She ended things the next day, her voice steady. "We're done, Ethan." He shrugged, already on his phone, and walked away. The breakup left Ava raw but clear-eyed. She got a job at a boutique in Old City, restocking shelves and ringing up customers. The work was grueling, the pay barely covered rent, but it gave her purpose. She stopped texting Ethan and started writing letters to Harper, apologies, memories of their Schuylkill River walks, promises to do better. Harper didn't respond, but Ava kept writing, leaving them at Noah's doorstep. She also booked a therapist in Center City, admitting, "I broke my family. I need to fix myself." Noah, meanwhile, thrived at the brewery. His investor pitch landed a major deal, and he celebrated with Harper at a Phillies game, her laughter easing his pain. He started seeing a coworker, Mia, who brought Harper coloring books and joined their soccer Sundays. Noah didn't rush it, keeping Harper first, but Mia's steadiness was a balm. He shared Ava's letters with Harper, who read them quietly. "Can Mom come to my game?" she asked one night. Noah hesitated, then nodded. "If she's ready." Ava showed up to Harper's game at Clark Park, standing apart from the crowd. Harper glanced her way, her face unreadable. After Noah approached, his tone neutral. "She asked for you. Don't let her down again." Ava nodded, tears in her eyes, and waved at Harper, who gave a small wave back. It wasn't forgiveness, but it was a start. As Ava walked away, the weight of her choices pressed heavy, but so did a flicker of hope. She'd lost Noah, but Harper wasn't gone yet. Ava's new routine in her Manayunk apartment was bare bones but deliberate. Her job at the Old City boutique kept her on her feet, folding sweaters and chatting with customers, the steady rhythm grounding her. She'd been attending therapy weekly in Center City, unpacking the choices that led to the Fishtown block party disaster. "I chased a feeling and lost my family," she told her therapist, voice steady but raw. The sessions helped her see the truth. Ethan was a mirage, and her betrayal had cost her Noah and Harper's trust. But she wasn't giving up. Noah, back in Fishtown, had finalized the divorce. He'd won primary custody of Harper, ensuring her stability, but he didn't shut Ava out. "She's still your mom," he told Harper, handing her Ava's latest letter. Harper, now 8, read them quietly, her anger softening but not gone. Noah's brewery was thriving, his investor deal bringing new taps to Northern Liberties bars. He'd started dating Mia, a kind graphic designer who joined him and Harper for pizza nights at Pizzeria Bettia. Mia didn't push, letting Harper warm to her slowly, bringing her sketch pads to soccer games at Clark Park. Ava poured her energy into rebuilding with Harper. She sent texts about small things, Philly's Mummers Parade, Harper's favorite pretzel stand at Reading Terminal Market. Harper's replies were short, but they came. Ava also volunteered at a community center in South Philly, teaching kids to make vision boards, a nod to her marketing days. "You're good at this," a coworker said, watching Ava guide a shy teen. The praise felt earned, a contrast to Ethan's hollow flattery. Still, Harper's distance stung. Ava knew trust would take time. One Saturday, Ava arrived at Clark Park for Harper's soccer game, her first since the divorce. Noah had agreed to let her attend, his condition clear. Be there for her, not for show. Ava stood on the sidelines, cheering as Harper scored, her heart lifting when Harper glanced her way. After the game, Harper jogged over, hesitant. "You saw my goal?" she asked. Ava nodded, fighting tears. "Wouldn't miss it, Harp." Harper didn't hug her, but she lingered, kicking dirt. "Maybe you can come next week," she mumbled before running to Noah. Ava exhaled, hope flickering. Noah watched the exchange, his expression neutral. He'd moved on, his life with Mia and Harper steady. But he saw Ava's effort, her letters, her consistency, and softened slightly. "She's asking about you," he told Ava later, dropping Harper off for a supervised visit at a Manayung cafe. Ava prepared Harper's favorite hot chocolate, and they talked about school, soccer, anything but the past. When Harper laughed at Ava's bad joke, Ava felt a weight lift like a crack in the wall between them. Ava's volunteer work grew. She organized a fundraiser at the community center, raising money for art supplies. Parents thanked her, and she felt a purpose she hadn't known since her marketing days. One evening, she ran into Noah at the center, dropping off Harper for a workshop. "You're doing good here," he said, his tone civil. Ava nodded, keeping it brief. "Trying to." Noah didn't smile, but he didn't look away either, a small acknowledgement of her change. Months passed, and Ava's visits with Harper became regular. They shared soft pretzels at a Phillies game, Harper pointing out her favorite players. "Dad says you're different now," Harper said, nibbling her pretzel. Ava paused, choosing her words. "I'm working on it, Harp. I messed up, but I love you." Harper didn't reply, but she leaned against Ava, a quiet gesture that said enough. Ava held her breath, savoring the moment, knowing it was fragile but real. Noah's life moved forward. He and Mia got engaged, planning a small ceremony in Fairmount Park. Harper was excited, showing Ava her flower girl sketch. Ava smiled, a pang in her chest. Not jealousy, but acceptance. Noah had rebuilt, and she respected it. She focused on her own path, a promotion at the boutique, therapy sessions, and weekly calls with Harper. The community center offered her a part-time role, and she took it, finding joy in small wins. One night, Ava sat at a park bench along the Schuylkill River Trail, watching the sunset. She pulled out her phone, scrolling through old photos, her, Noah, and Harper at a Phillies game years ago. The memory stung, but she didn't flinch. She'd lost Noah, but Harper was still hers to fight for. She texted Harper a photo of the sunset. "Thought of you." Harper replied with a heart emoji. Ava smiled, pocketing her phone. The road ahead was long, but she was walking it. The story closed with Ava and Harper at the community center, painting a mural together. Harper laughed, flicking paint at Ava, who grinned back. Noah watched from the doorway, Mia at his side. He nodded to Ava, a silent truce. Ava's choices had broken their family, but her accountability was rebuilding something new. Not perfect, but honest. Justice had come through truth, not vengeance, and Ava was learning to live with that.